It's a very good morning to the Gelding. We've turned to Melbourne racing in the city, Gelding at the Valley.
Yes, good morning, Professor. Good morning, listeners. Hope everyone had a good Christmas. We certainly did and had a very good Boxing Day at Caulfield, Professor.
Oh, it was a lovely day, and the Shaw and Smith, very nice.
Very nice. Very nice indeed.
Moonee Valley today, Gelding 10 race card, the first at 12:15 p.m, the last at 5:40 p.m. The feature race, race 9, the Big Max Buggies handicap, benchmark 100 for 3-year-old horses and above, only worth $150,000 Gelding, but it would still be nice to win that one.
Yes, Professor, good stake money on offer, 130,000 in most races, apart from race 9 where you set 150, and race 5 where they have this 10th race they've added to the program. Professor, and I only offer 80,000 for it. I don't know what racing clubs do that for. If you're going to run a race, why don't you offer the proper Saturday race meeting?
Well, question without notice, Gelding. Should there be minimum stakes earnings at a city meeting?
Professor, I think you're spot on there. Racing Victoria and the clubs have always said, city racing is a highlight of the racing. So we'll set minimums, and that when they've introduced this 10th race, where they make it a benchmark 70 race for 80,000. Well, if you're going to have other benchmark 70 races for 130,000, of which there's several today, be consistent. If you want the race on and you want to get the betting and all the money from that, well, make it a proper Saturday race.
I agree, Gelding. Totally concur with your thoughts on that. The track's a good for Gelding. The rail is in the true position, of course, because they haven't raced there for a little while. What are your two best bets for today's racing?
Professor, going mid-program, race 6, number 1, Fickle, trained by Tom Dominic, Craig Williams, looking for horses that have won at Moonee Valley, which Fickle has. Tom Dominic in fine form, the stable firing now. Down at Warrnambool, separated from the Hayes Lindsay Park operation. It's now got his Warrnambool operation up and running, and no jockey in better form than Craig Williams, Professor. So first tip, race 6, number 1, Fickle. Second tip, I've gone race 7, number 9, Bond Mistress. Professor, although it hasn't won at Moonee Valley, has won at Caulfield Heath, which we believe are similar type of courses. Craig Williams on board for the Keys Racing Stable. This horse has won 3 of its last 4 starts, Professor. So that will do me. So my two are race 6, number 1, Fickle, into race 7, number 9, Bond Mistress. And you like, Professor?
Going earlier than you, Gelding. And as always, when you're putting the bets on, I'm going in race 1.
Of course.
The Bottle Stop Handicap, Gelding. It's a benchmark 70 for 3-year-old horses and above, over 3,000 metres. Not often we get a race of that length.
No, and a big field too, Professor.
There is, and this one I like. Number 1, Gelding, Roaring Engine, coming out of barrier 14, had 21 starts for 4 wins and 5 placings, so a 19% win rate, 34% place rate. It's a last start winner at the track, Gelding, over 2,500 metres, and that was 3 weeks ago. Reasonable recent form too, Gelding. It's second at Caulfield in a benchmark 84 to Berkshire Breeze. And that's Berkshire Breeze, we know, we've been on ourselves, since ran third in the Group 3 Archer Stakes to Point King, and also the Group 3 Bart Cummings to Just Fine that ran in the Melbourne Cup. So I'm thinking that, and also ran 5th in a Group 2, the Adelaide Cup at Morfettville, Gelding. So the pedigree's good. Great each way odds for a horse that's an obvious stayer. $9.50 and $3 you can get at the moment.
Yep, and Blake Shinnerboard, Professor.
Yes, Gelding, Blake Shinnon aboard and trained by Danny O'Brien.
You're not losing anything there, Professor.
No, we're not Gelding. So race 1, horse 1, Roaring Engine. And let's go to race 5, the Josh Freaks Bucks Handicap. We congratulate John on obviously his forthcoming nuptials, seeing as how he's probably having the Bucks party at the Valley.
Can you tell us much about Josh?
No, I can't.
Away from the track?
Nothing, Gelding, except that he or some of his connections have paid to name the race.
Beautiful. Very good.
I wonder if Josh will. I wonder what. Race 5, Gelding. If Josh is going to present the trophy, I'm wondering what condition he'll be in at that stage.
Should they sponsor race 1 or race 2, Professor?
Probably should have sponsored race 1, Gelding. That would have been the clever move. All right, Gelding. It's a benchmark 70 for horses 3-year-olds and above. Over 1,200 metres. In this one, Gelding, I like horse number 8, My Temptation, all one word. Coming out of barrier 9. It's had 2 starts for the very impressive 2 wins, so 100% win and place rate. Excellent last run at Caulfield Heath, Gelding, and I agree with you about the Heath. The straight at Moonee Valley is just over 200 metres long. The straight for the Heath, just over 300 metres, so very, very similar. You couldn't get much similar racing conditions than that. It's won over the same distance at the Heath. Travelled on pace. It likes the shorter straight. Craig Williams in the saddle. Gelding, career form, 26% over the last 50, if you don't mind. And Enver Jusufovic, the trainer, he's also in career form, Gelding, 24% over his last 50.
Yes, including a Group 1, Professor.
Yeah, well, can't do better than that, can you, Gelding?
No, in fine form.
So you can get $3.10 and $1.50 fixed at the moment, Gelding. I tend to take the fixed on this because it's showing a lot shorter on the tote at the moment.
Yeah. Craig Williams, 2 out of 2. You've got to like it, Professor.
All right, Gelding. So my 2 tips for today's racing: race 1, horse number 1, Roaring Engine, and race number 5, horse number 8, My Temptation. Now let's turn to the Professor's Parlay, Gelding. We don't know whether the Professor's Parlay from Thursday has been successful or not yet. Miss Chrissy came second, so the place Parlay is in action, and that's parlayed into the LA Clippers to beat the Patriots and the LA Rams to beat the Cardinals on Monday morning. Today's parlay: race 5, horse 8, My Temptation, for the reasons I gave earlier. And let's parlay that into, well, we'll go with the LA Rams again, Gelding. They're playing at home to beat the Arizona Cardinals. The Rams seeded 3rd in the NFC at the moment. 9 wins out of 15. Matthew Stafford, they've won 4 out of their last 5, Gelding. Their only losses to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are flying a little bit higher at the moment. The wide receivers have got Puka Nakua and Cooper Kupp, Gelding. If Stafford's throwing to them, they're going to throw a winning score. There's no doubt about that. The Arizona Cardinals off the boil. We said on Thursday program, Gelding, they started off like the proverbial German band, but they've slowed up a bit. They've lost 4 out of their last 5. They're only winning that 5-match stretches against the Patriots, and they're down the bottom of the AFC. So can't put much store on that. $1.35 for the LA Rams at home. Very good odds there, Gelding, for the second leg of the parlay. And let's parlay that into the Buffalo Bills playing at home to beat the New York Jets. The Bills, second in the AFC. They've won 12 of 15. That's very impressive, Gelding. They averaged 31.2 points per game on offense. They've won 4 out of the last 5. Their only loss is to the Rams, who I spoke about earlier, and they're on fire. They're up against the 11th placed AFC team, the New York Jets, Gelding. What a season to forget for them. They were going to play merry hell with a big stick, Gelding. They signed Aaron Rodgers last year. Hasn't worked out, Gelding. Has not worked out. They've only won 4 of 15. They've only won 1 out of their last 5, Gelding. Who would you prefer? Josh Allen at quarterback, who is young and got a gun arm, and is touted to be the MVP this year, against Aaron Rodgers, who just turned 40. What can I say?
Suspect legs.
Yes, his better years are behind him, Gelding.
Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Professor, can do it all, can throw for touchdowns, can use his running backs for touchdowns, can run himself, Professor. He's a very, very big lad. So he gets touchdowns a lot more ways than a lot of other quarterbacks, and is, as you rightly pointed out, completely in the running for the MVP for the whole shebang this year, Professor. So I reckon it could be the Bills' year.
Yeah.
If only they can get over the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's the thing.
In that
AFC
game.
Yes, and after the Chiefs winning on Thursday, Gelding, Chiefs have got home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Yeah,
so they'll be tough to get across.
They will, and that'll be the game. I think the AFC game.
Oh yeah, I think it'll be the Chiefs versus the Bills, Gelding. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, Gelding. Now, the parlay today, race 5, horse 8, My Temptation, into the LA Rams to beat the Arizona Cardinals, into the Buffalo Bills to meet the New York Jets. And we might say, Gelding, that we had a very good Thursday at Caulfield, not only enjoying ourselves at the promenade deck, but also 25% win rate, 100% place rate. So, and we weren't too far away with some of those placings.
The seconds in the last 2 races, Professor, what could have been?
Exactly right, Gelding, exactly right. But look, we'll put our best foot forward today. And might I say, just before we go, that is racing, Gelding. And might I say, just before we go, a very special day tomorrow, the 29th of December. The Gelding turns another year older. So congratulations on that, Gelding, and a very happy birthday from me and I'm sure the rest of our viewers.
Thank you very much, Professor. Yeah, looking forward to it. Might be, one of my favourite restaurants in the Crown Casino tomorrow.
All right, Gelding. And if anybody recognise you, I'm sure you'll be prepared to sign an autograph.
Selfies. I'll do anything, Professor, for promotion of the show.
And make sure you give them the A-list tips if they come up and want it. they're probably coming up to you wanting to know what to bet on tomorrow, Gelding.
Oh, well, we'll have a quick look before we head out.
All right, Gelding. Well, until next Saturday. Oh, hang on. Racing on New Year's Day, Gelding.
We may be New Year's Day, Professor.
Might we come back New Year's Day, do you think?
Oh, big race meeting at Flemington, Professor.
Well, we'll have to, won't we?
Yeah. And there might be one at Kerrang today, Professor.
Yes. Any late mail on that one, Gelding?
Well, you can get the each way odds for Drop the Mic at Kerrang in race 7. So, look, maybe a bit short for it, but 8 horse field, come back from Queensland. Senior jockey on board, which I'm very happy about. Just maybe a fraction short for it, but could be, if ridden on pace, Professor, and that's a big if, maybe right in there with a good each way chance at round about the 7-1, Professor.
All right, Gelding. Well, until New Year's Day edition of That's Racing, it's good luck.
And good punting.